My name is Justice Robinson. This is my story. I remember actually attending Prairie A&M University about a couple years ago, probably about 2 years ago, and when I first found out I was having a son. Um, I remember when she called me, it was after a step show, she told me, she said, "Hey, Snoop, I want to talk to you." I came over to the house, to the where actually the phases, as we all know it as. She told me that she needed to tell me something. I really didn't know kind of sort of really what it was because we hadn't really talked that much. She told me, I sat down on the bed, she told me that, hey, she showed me a paper. I really didn't know what the paper really meant. Had a couple of big words on there that I really did not understand. Um, After she told me that, after she showed me the paper, I really was kind of confused as to, like I said, what it said. She told me, she said she was pregnant. At the time, I was like, I don't know what we're gonna do. We wasn't together, nothing like that. I did not know what I was gonna do at that time, but I knew that I was happy about it at the moment. And then reality hit me as soon as I got into the car. Nobody was really on campus too much at the time. I want to say that following week, it just kept really coming at me. Like, it was like, okay, you about to have a son, but there's nothing that's right with you in order to raise a son up to be who you expected him to be. You know what I'm saying? So I went into this depression mode really hard, man. I remember I was driving this a long dark road around by the graveyard at PV, and I rode around. I was driving it, and all these voices started coming in my head saying what I can't do. I'm not worthy enough to raise a child. There's no way that I could be able to teach this child anything really like that, because I was dealing with me so much. I went home. I actually went home. I cried and I cried and I cried. And then literally the next day, of course, I went to class and everything like that. Went right back on that same dark road. Nobody was really on campus at the time, like I said before. As I was driving, I kept hearing these voices in my head. You might as well go ahead and end your life right now, because there's no way that you're able to actually take care of a seed that is that has to be raised by you. I felt like I was not right. I felt like I just wasn't worthy of pretty much anything. I really wasn't seeing no type of lighting in my life at all. It may seem like I had stuff going on, of course, play drums and everything like that, but I know it's more to life than just playing drums and everything like that. I went into this depression mode that was crazy. I wanted to commit suicide at the time. I was just really, literally had my car off, headlights off. I'm just really waiting on somebody to just come take me out. I had been dealing with suicidal thoughts for a while prior to that, and I think that was 2018, and even before that, 2017. I was still battling with me. I had friends that was around me, but it kind of seemed like I was the odd one around. And so when she laid it on me about having a child, my whole life just kind of froze. I didn't really have anybody to really just go and talk to. I could talk to my dad for a little bit, but me and my dad's relationship really wasn't always the best. So I really feel like I couldn't really talk to him too much, because me and his relationship was kind of messed up at the time. So I went to this depression mode, and man, it literally took everything out of me not to really just take myself out. Sometimes I felt like, might as well just go ahead and just smoke. Either one, smoke my life away. Two, go ahead and pop pills. I popped a couple pills around that time. This is something that my own people didn't even know. My own people didn't even really understand what I was going through, because they didn't know that I was dealing with me. And sometimes, when you're fed so much about God and you have a relationship with Him, but yet you feel like your relationship was lacking, but yet your experience with Him was everything, it just still kind of seemed like I was still fading away. So I really want to take my life out. Honestly, I sat on that back road. I reclined my chair, and I literally just laid there for about 15 minutes. I had voices going on in my head. It was a lot of demonic spirits that was all around me. I could not shake it off. I really did not know what it was about me that I just wasn't okay with. It could have been messing with a bunch of girls. It could have been sleeping around. It could have been, you know, me not being truthful to who I am. And that's something that I felt like it really wasn't me, but it was starting to become me. A lot. I do feel that when she did tell me that, like I said, it was a little bit of happiness in there. But when it sat down, when it sat in me, it was more so like, you can't do this. There's no way. You're not correct. There's nothing about you that is correct. I felt like there was something on me that I could not take off. I couldn't go to any friends about this. I couldn't even fathom the fact that I was even having a child. Like I said, it was definitely suicidal for me, and sometimes still is, because I sit there, I look at Carter, I look at my son, and I look at him and I say, God, you just been so good to me, but I just feel so embarrassed because of the things that I've done in my past. And matter of fact, to be even more truthful, to be honest with you, I had other stuff going on before he had even gotten the picture. So it made me even more depressed because I felt like I hurt people along the way, trying to make sure that myself is right. I didn't realize how many people I was hurting. And sometimes when you get by yourself and all that hurt starts to develop and all that hurt just really comes to torment you, you don't really understand where you are in life, like, at all. I did not understand where I was. I did not understand exactly who was for me, who was against me. I just felt like it was just me against me. And then I had the devil on one side and then the devil on the other side. God was still, I felt as if God was still behind me. He was behind me, but I really wasn't understanding to who God was. Like, I even questioned the fact that, God, are you even real? Like, are you sure this is for me? Are you sure that this is something that you really want me to be placed in? I know I made some mistakes, and what's crazy about it is some of the mistakes that I had made, they literally were just sitting in front of me. I had to eat everything that I had already planted, and some of that stuff that I planted was not good at all. So when I fell in this depression stage, I felt as if there was nobody for me. I know that I had to man up and step up to the plate, but even in stepping up to the plate, you still dealing with you. I didn't realize the responsibility that really was at hand. I'm really responsible for getting another child to actually believe in God, when I'm over here stressing about, God, are you even there? Is everything that I'm getting taught in church even real? Like, because I'm going through all of this stuff. I believe in God and I love you and I cherish you, but am I really in love with you the way I say I am because of the things that I've done? You know, I've been in church all my life. I've been playing drums, and drums has really been my passion. It's been everything, but I know that there was more, because drums wasn't just making me joyful. Over a course of time, drums did bring out another side of me that really got me really passionate. But also, my son Carter really got me really passionate, because I knew that I was in charge of leading him to where he needed to be. But at the time, I was really depressed. I was depressed because I had to learn how to lead in a way that I've never led before. And sometimes that really creates a spiritual warfare for me, because I'm dealing with me. Yet, God, I say that I love you. Yet, God, I say that I trust you. But where was my trust at when everything started coming against me? You know? So at the time when she told me, I was happy at the time. No, we were not together at the time, but I still wanted to be there. I still wanted to be able to step up to the plate, but yet I was still depressed. I kid you not, I will never forget this day. 2 weeks after she told me, I was I believe I was working as a CR or something like that. And I literally woke up, and it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had literally nobody to call. I'm walking around in circles in the phases like, God, what am I about to do? Now I gotta go back and tell this other female, like, okay, I got a baby on the way. I gotta tell my homegirl, I gotta tell my homeboy, like, look, everything's about to stop for you because you have something to take care of. And the first thing that I thought about is, well, how did your parents do you? And we all know that I messed up. That generational curses are definitely real. So I have not broken none of those, because some of those things that were done to me by my parents, I felt like maybe I'm capable of doing the same thing. There was no way that you're ready for this, Snoop. There's no way that you're ready for this. When I got depressed, I picked up smoking pretty bad. I picked up smoking even before that because I was still dealing with myself. There was no, and what's crazy is I was the go-to person for everybody to go to. Like, you need prayer, I got you. I could pray for you for doing this. Like, God got you. You're gonna be good. You're gonna be successful. But when it came to me, it was just like, who was there for me? It's like I could talk to my problems about my problems to somebody else. But when it came to me, it was like nobody could really understand or fathom exactly what I was feeling internally. So not only dealing with a child, but even dealing with approval from everybody else. Like, who do you see Snoop as? I didn't even know what I seen myself as on top of having a child. So at that time, just being on that dark road, I was in a deep place. Even in the midst of a lot of people, I was still in a deep, dark place. Even then, trying to figure out, God, what am I supposed to do? What do you have for me? I've made a mistake, but yet a blessing's supposed to come out of this mistake. Are you serious? Like, I'm supposed to do this. I didn't feel like I was gonna be able to raise a child or anything like that, but I knew I had to step up to the plate because I had to be strong for somebody else, honestly. So the depression that I had went through really, really took over my whole life, and I was doing everything in my in the book to get that out of me, but it still wasn't leaving me. I was still going to sleep depressed. I was still just mad at myself because of the decisions that I made while I was in college, the people that I had hurt. It's just everything had came on me, and I just knew I had to get it out some way. I do thank God for my son. I thank God for my son so much, and I also do thank God for the mother of my child because she does what she can for Carter as well. But at the end of the day, some of the things I did not want her to feel. I didn't want nobody to feel anything I was going through. I was like, I gotta be head honcho. I'm good. Everybody loves Snoop. You know what I'm saying? Everybody does. But at the end of the day, I did not feel none of that because I was a person to them that I feel like they could not be to me. And that made me even more depressed because I'm just like, you know what? Got a child on the way. My finances not in order really right now. I'm still trying to focus on at least some type of career or something had to happen. But that depression really made me feel like, God, are you there? Like, are you sure you there? Like you say you are. I know you say you never leave me nor forsake me, but why do I feel the opposite when I'm going through? Why do I feel like that? So me being depressed and me wanting to kill myself, just really wanted to take myself out because at the end of the day, I was crying, but I didn't even know what I was crying about. Didn't know what I was crying to. All I heard was these voices, Snoop, you're not gonna be nothing. You not able to raise no child. You got all these things that's wrong with you. You got people looking up to you, but you don't even look up to yourself. You don't even trust yourself at all to do any of these things. And so I became very complacent and very, very stagnant to the fact that I have a major responsibility ahead, and a lot right now. It's a big thing. Baby mama, baby daddy, all of the type of things, and that's something I didn't really plan for. Yes, my actions may have said differently, but at the end of the day, some of our mistakes are sometimes will take us out before we can even act on it. So my depression really took me to a sunken place that I didn't feel like I could take myself out of. I wanted to talk. I wanted to cry. I cried for days when I found out that I had a little one on the way. And a lot of people don't talk about this because there's people that's on campus right now that's going through that, having a child, or worried about what's gonna be a plan A, plan B, plan C. And it was just like, well, everybody else go out. I'm just there. Like, I'm there, but I'm not there. You know what I'm saying? So I do feel like this depression that I encountered was very real because it got me even more far away from God than I have ever been in my life, because I felt like the responsibility of being a father, which I felt like I didn't have a father figure. I felt like I had a daddy. He taught me about money. He taught me about how to make sure you count your change, but that compassion that I needed from my father, I was trying to figure out how I'm gonna get this to my son. I'm not no compassion dude. I'm not none of that. Like, I'm good, I'm solid. But at that moment, that depression came in and took the whole honcho out of me. So with the depression that I have felt and the mood swings that I had towards that, I wanted to take myself out. I either, regardless, I didn't have access to no gun, so I wasn't about to point nothing in my head. But I just rather somebody else take me out because I couldn't fathom so much responsibility overload. I was overwhelmed with a lot of responsibilities because I knew, granted that the mother of my child, she's from Baltimore. So I'm already got this stuff in my head, like I'm gonna have to figure out something, somewhere to where that I have to be there for her, but also be there for me. But I'm lost in me so much, like I couldn't even find the words to describe to you the depression that I hit at that given moment. I could not describe it. I couldn't even tell you the type of energy that it was. But all I know, it was so demonic because I had these voices and it's almost like I seen so many things going in my head. It just equal to death. I could not. There was nothing about me that I felt that was good enough to be able to take care of a seed that I had already planted. And it's just like almost God said, okay, boom, that's where it is. That's what it is. I'm gonna give you a child. Would a child slow me down? Possibly. All these thoughts had came in my head, and I'm reminded of a story. I remember being at my mom's house, and I was laying in the bed, and I was laying on my back, and I remember feeling this energy that had entered to the room. People call it sleep paralysis, but I know what it was to me because it meant everything to me. I remember this shadowy figure walking into my room. She had on a bride's dress. It was all black. It was foggy gray at the bottom. She lifted her hands over my body, and all of a sudden my body started to lift up really, really fast. And I automatically knew, I said, there's something that's over my life that I gotta get out of me. There was something, I did not know what it was, but it even got me even more depressed because I'm like, God, I know your word. Like, at least I think that I know it, but sometimes I just don't feel your word, you know? So that depression after so many times, it's only some things that my papa could tell me. It's only some things that my granny could tell me. It's only so many prayers that my mama can pray. But was I praying for myself? Was I able to really go through this depression by myself? With dealing with the suicidal thoughts, with dealing with popping pills, with dealing with smoking weed, with dealing with drinking. And I don't even like to drink like that. But I did it at the time because that's the only way I figured I could free myself from me. And the more depressed I got, the more I became in this box, even in a box amongst thousands of people. You know, even being on Prairie View's campus, I just felt like it was something about me that just wasn't right. It just didn't feel right. You might see a smile, you might see a grin, but inside I was hurt. I was hurt because I felt like I had caused something in somebody else's life, something I wasn't ready for at all. You know, so it caused me to get depressed. My relationship with my father had a lot to do with that, but it had a lot to do with myself because I felt like I just wasn't worthy of anything. The blessings that I had, the opportunities that I had, I just got into this depression mode to where it's like, God, what is it about me? Maybe I had to accept the difference out of me. I just didn't accept me for me in order to be able to raise a child. Say, God, how am I gonna do this? I don't know. You know, so with all of that being said, after that depression that I went through and the suicidal thoughts that I had to literally throw my hands up. I had to give it to somebody. I had to give it to somebody else that knew me better than me. I had to, and I'm just really, really thankful that God had me in that place because at that time, at that place, I had to realize who He was to not only me, but even to my seed. I had to literally pray over my child, regardless if it was touching on her stomach, just singing to me. It didn't matter what it was. I had to do something to fight me, you know? And I almost felt like I was fighting a battle that was already fought, but it was almost like every punch I threw was on myself, you know? So, but with all that being said, the depression that I had went through, I just thank God for that one place because every time I feel like I'm not good enough, I go back to that one place and I figure out where I am right now. Every night, anytime that I have my son, I gotta touch him from his head to his toe to let God cover him because sometimes I just felt like I wasn't good enough. I remember holding Carter. I remember holding Carter. At one point in time, I was typing a paper, I was typing a paper, and I just started crying to God, like, God, I'm holding my seed, but I just don't, he doesn't even know me just yet. But I felt like I knew me, like there's something wrong with me. Please, somebody just help me, please, somebody. But there was nobody I really could just go to that could help me with me. So with all of that being said, the depression stage that I was at, I'm still kind of dealing with, because I still feel the internal me that is crying out for help, because I feel like I got so wrapped up in the tradition of the church, being behind drums. I feel like I couldn't really pour all of my heart out to God, and I feel like I just couldn't fathom the fact that, you know, I'm responsible for somebody else's life. Well, God, what am I supposed to do? And he literally told me, I literally just got this not too long ago. My son's 2 now, and I'm literally just got that. Don't worry about nothing, Snoop. Don't worry about nothing. If you take care of your seed, I'm gonna take care of you. That's the thing. I'm gonna take care of your seed, and I'm gonna take care of you. So, you know, I feel that depression, it comes in every once in a while. Then I'm still dealing with that demon that's on my right side. But now, at first it was a devil on this side and a devil on that side. But now it's God on this side, and the devil's still right here in my ear, just trying to get me to still take myself out. I got the moments in life right now where I'm just driving like, God, if I just let go of the wheel, everything just gonna be all right. I just know I just go rest in your presence. That'll be perfectly fine. But I know that I have a job. I know that I have an assignment that is for myself. And I felt like I needed help with learning how to deal with me, the anxiety, the depression, the nervousness that I feel, even so much hurt that I just felt like there was no room to be happy, you know? So that was really one of my stories, that I really just dealt with depression, really raising my child up to be not like me, but in my head, not to do some of the things that even my parents grew up doing. My mama, she had me in the church, love her to death. My daddy, I love him to death, but it was still certain things that they could not help me with. I had to get it on my own, and I knew that God was the only answer. But at that time, and we all get in that time, that space sometimes where we don't know what is what. I don't know if what the preacher's saying is really actually for me, or how do I know it's for me, or do I accept what he has to say right then and there, and then Monday through Friday, it's me and the devil back head to head again. Some of them times I agreed with the devil. Devil, we on the same page. I promise you, we on the same page. I take you out, we both gonna be happy. Cool. I don't want to deal with none of it. So I'm trying not to get emotional, but my son saved my life. I kid you not, he saved my life, because I had to accept the fact that just as this is your responsibility, and God would not have put this responsibility on you had you had not been equipped for it. So again, the depression, it sneaks in every once in a while, and it totally takes over my whole body. My body get fidgety, I get shaky. Sometimes I'm up at night, in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning. I can't sleep. I'm tossing and I'm turning. I done already prayed for my son, but I'm still dealing with me. Still dealing with the voices in my head. I'm still dealing with ties that's on me. You know, we don't always make the best decisions, but you got some decisions that you just can't let go of, and they really torment you in your head, like you're not capable of being nobody. You're not capable of being a father figure. You're not capable of taking care of what you're supposed to do. But the devil is a lie. The depression stage that I went through was something that literally changed my life. Kid you not, it changed my life. It changed the way I seen things, the way I seen people. As of now, I can't do nothing but speak positivity at this point, but I'm still dealing with the inside of me that is still not right. And every day it is a fight. Every day I have to sit back and say, you know what, just know you can do this. You can fight through this. You can spiritually be aware of everything that's going on around you. You know, so if it had not been for the depression that I was going through at the time, and yet I'm still going through, it's a fight, but I know that it is worth it. I love my son. I definitely love the mother of my child. I thank her for everything that she's done for my son and everything, but yet I'm still learning how to deal with me. And this journey that I'm on with Christ and with God, I'm still learning how to adjust, and I'm still trying to get to know him, because I still got them times where I'm like, God, are you sure you there? Are you sure? I hear you, but I don't feel you. you know. And at that time, I really wasn't feeling them at all. Like I said, from the pills to the alcohol to the drugs to the sex, I was looking for any type of way to get out of that thing. I don't even care. I don't even care if it was even just trying to get a little satisfaction out of whatever female I could get it out of. If it made me feel good, I did it. You know, so I'm just really grateful for the depression that I went through, but it still is agging at me. And what I'm dealing with is something that's so internal that I'm dealing with the acceptance of me, of who I really am, who I am to me, versus even who I am to my son. So, like I said, that depression, it almost really took me out. I was this close from taking myself out, literally, like, yeah, I kid you not. So I'm literally just thankful that God allowed me to still be here. I've seen death too many times. I've been shot at. I've been in a car when one of my homeboys got shot, picked up his blood and his flesh out of my car. I just wasn't understanding life at all. All of this happened right before I found out that she was about to conceive a child. I kid you not. I didn't know how I was going to do it. Didn't know how I was going to make it. All I knew was I just had to step it up. And if I didn't, I was going to allow depression to give me my own death sentence. I kid you not.